Thank you so much for joining me today, Lottie. I've got the Lot Star from the State. She's a fantastic makeup artist over there, and I can't wait to hear your story, Lottie. So let's get into it. So, first of all, what do you spend, what do your weeks look like as a makeup artist now? What do you spend your time doing?
It's a lot different, I would say, now than it was maybe 5 years ago.
Yep.
So most of my time as a makeup artist is spent just on set doing print work, not much else.
Oh, on set doing print work.
Advertising, yeah, mostly
Okay.
advertising.
Okay, cool. And where do you do those jobs mainly?
Mostly Los Angeles, sometimes New
Mostly.
York, but mostly Los Angeles.
Cool. All right. So how did it all begin for you, Lottie? How did you become a makeup artist?
Oh my gosh, that is kind of a long-winded, strange story, but I never really knew makeup was a real job outside of retail. Not that retail isn't a real job, but I never knew that a freelance makeup artist was a career. And I was working in accounting of all things and hated it, of course, hated it every second. And a friend of mine actually kept telling me, you should really do makeup. You're so good at doing makeup. I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to work in the mall. I did that already. And she was like, no, you can work on photo shoots. And so it was kind of in the back of my mind. So all the while I was hating working in accounting, I was kind of thinking like, well, how could I do that? So I started just doing makeup on all of the girls who worked in my office, like all the secretaries and all of my fellow employees. And I would do their makeup on the weekends if they had a party. And I just learned, that's how I learned. That's how I learned different skin tones. That's how I learned the hard way how bad things can look. That was when I was living in London, actually. And then when I moved back to Los Angeles, I started working with a photographer named Alex Prager, and we did a lot together. And I was kind of doing that while doing accounting. So that's kind of how it
Okay.
started. Yeah.
Can you give me a ballpoint of time when was this
This was
what
early
year?
2000s.
Early 2000s. Okay. So just that gives you like the listeners an indication of the products that were available and,
Oh my gosh, can I even remember?
the education that was available. There wasn't really
There
anything
wasn't
like
any
there is
really.
today. Yeah.
So for me, education was just hands-on learning as much as I could and just devouring magazines, obsessively poring over magazines and reading the credits and looking at all the products that they used and things like that. And I would say I didn't have any real education until I started doing Runway. And that's
Okay.
really where I learned makeup. I didn't go to school. I
Okay.
kind of was self-taught and then, went to fashion boot camp, aka Runway, and that's where I really that's where you really learn.
When did you do your first runway show?
My first runway show ever was that I assisted on was 2004, I think.
Okay.
And that was I was assisting an artist named Carl Giant for
Okay.
Smashbox, and he was great. And I started doing all the shows with him for Smashbox at LA Fashion Week. And then I just got the bug for it. And I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to work in fashion. And at that point, I knew who Pat McGrath was. So I
Hmm.
was, obsessively looking at her runway shows and just thinking, oh, I just want to do that. Like, I need to go to New York. I want to do runway.
Okay. So you moved to New York or?
So I moved to New York. And I moved to New York in 2006
Okay.
towards the end of 2006. And by the beginning of 2007, I was on Pat's runway team. And so I started doing shows in New York and then shortly after started doing shows in Europe with her. And I
Okay.
was on the runway team for about 6.5, 7 years.
Okay.
And that's where I met people like Stoy and
Yes.
Kira, who I love,
Yes.
both of them.
So with the assisting, like you said, you were working with assisting, I can't remember his name, was Craig Giant? Was it
Carl
Smashbox?
Giant.
Carl Giant. How did you get that? How did that happen?
That's actually a really funny story. I haven't really talked about this story that much, but it's kind of funny. So I was very, very green and very determined to do shows and
Yeah.
determined to do any kind of experience that I could because I wanted desperately to get out of accounting. And my best friend, Camille, her family, this is so long winded, her family actually owns a company that they make sort of palettes and other things like that, like limited edition things for brands. So her family was in town having a meeting with Smashbox.
Oh.
And I said, oh, give them my card, give them my card and tell them that, Smashbox, tell them I want
Mm.
to work with them. And she did. And they contacted me. And I
Oh
mean, I
my
had no
gosh, that's
experience.
awesome.
I had no experience in Runway. I had a little bit of a book, but not really. It was just like overly creative test shoots that I had done and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I remember I was on a photo shoot and I got a call from Smashbox saying, Carl Giant is in town. He's going to be keying our shows and he would love to meet you. Can you come to the studio today to meet him? And I was like, yes, of course. And I literally left my photo shoot for like 2 hours. So unprofessional. I was like, I got to go, guys. I'll be back. I have a meeting. I'll be back. And I went and I met him and I showed him my measly little portfolio and we hit it off. And yeah, that's how I started doing Runway.
Oh my gosh, I love that story.
Sort of like blagged my way into Smashbox.
Well, I guess it was, I mean, I suppose the reason I started the podcast was because I found it difficult to find information or ways to get into the areas that I wanted to in work, But
Yeah.
in 2004, there wasn't
Yeah, I mean
really
the internet
much out
existed.
there.
The internet
Yeah.
existed. We had MySpace, which is how I got my first
Yeah.
client, but it wasn't how it is today, where you could
No,
base a whole career off of having an online profile. That did not exist. I
no.
mean, when I was doing Runway shows, we weren't even allowed to have our phones.
Yeah.
There was signs everywhere, like no backstage photos, no
Yeah.
phones, nothing. They would put tape
Yeah.
over our cameras.
Oh, wow. MySpace, you got your first client. Tell me about that.
MySpace. Remember MySpace?
Yeah.
So I had, my little profile and I didn't have much of a book. I was mostly doing makeup on myself and then my husband was taking pictures of it. And it was mostly
Yeah.
me recreating runway looks, and
Okay.
things like that, which is ironically how I also ended up on Pat's team. But this actress/model, Mia Tyler, found me on MySpace and reached out to me and she said, hi, I'm going to be doing a TV show and I don't want a TV makeup artist. Can I hire you to be my makeup artist for the show? And I was kind of like, okay. Yeah, and she hired me from MySpace. I met her and we hit it off and I did Celebrity Fit Club with her, which is so funny. It was like one of the first, reality shows like that back then. And she's still a friend today.
Oh, wow.
Right.
So was that one of your first jobs or?
It was one of my first paid jobs. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you navigate that? Do you remember?
As far as what?
Like
Money
no,
goes?
like money, yeah. Like how do you
I mean,
know
I
what-
think I was getting paid like not much at all. I don't even remember
Okay.
what it was. I didn't care though.
didn't
I was
care.
excited.
Yeah.
I was excited to work with her. She's beautiful. She comes from rock
Yeah.
royalty, and
Yeah.
she was such a cool girl. And I was working on a TV show, which was, unheard of. I had no experience. My
Yeah.
only experience was doing test shoots.
Yeah.
And it was very exciting. I was around these celebrities, on this reality show, which was, I don't know, it was just really fun. It was
Yeah,
fun
that
for
sounds
me.
very exciting.
Yeah.
Especially too, because 2004, you just didn't know a lot about. You didn't know what happened behind the scenes.
No, I didn't know
Everything
anything.
was so exciting and so glamorous, and yeah, that would
Definitely
be so
learned the
fun.
dirty side of reality, though. Definitely learned like how gross producers are and things like that.
Yes, I can.
My doorbell.
That's all right. Do you need to go?
No, it's probably just a package. Makeup.
We love a package. Okay, so that was your first job. Was that before or after Smashbox?
That was before.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
All right.
Yeah, it was before. Or maybe around the same time, but I think it was before.
And so when did you leave accounting? When did you make that possible?
I left, well, I want to say it was right before. No, it was because I was moving to New York. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd had the same boss in accounting for many years.
Yeah.
And like before I had moved to London, I had worked with her. And then when I moved back from London, I worked with her and I said, look, I really appreciate all you've taught me, everything that I've done here. Like it's been so great and it's helped me survive, but I really have a passion for makeup and I want to move to New York and I really want to have a go and do this. And she was very supportive and yeah, it's like, wait,
Awesome.
quit my job and moved to New York. And
Yeah.
didn't really have much of a plan, but it worked out.
Cool. So you just had faith that it would work out. So were you going to be working with Smashbox over there?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
So you just talk me through that. Well, how did you connect with people? How did you get work?
My husband and I moved together, obviously, and I had already had a connection with photographer Jamie Nelson, who I was working with a lot at the time. We started while she was in photo school, and she had
Okay.
moved there and said, look, you need to come here because, I really miss us working together, and New York is the place to be if you want to work in fashion. And she kind of pushed me, and I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to move to New York. I don't really like New York. I never had a desire to move there. And I went to visit, and we did a photo shoot while I was there. And, she kind of brought it up again. And I said, okay, well, I'll think about moving here if I can move into this building. Because I didn't want to move to Manhattan. And she was living in Jersey City. And she's like, no, what if you don't get in? And I was like, then I'm not moving. And so we decided to move, and we put an application, and we got the apartment in the same building. Jamie and her best friend at the time, Danielle, and I all worked together in that building and did amazing shoots. And some of our most iconic work was done in that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have any connections or anything. The only goal I had was to work with Pat. Like,
okay.
I wanted to do Runway. I wanted to work with Pat. I had reached out to Mac, and I got on the Runway team with them. And yeah, I didn't have any real plan, honestly.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I wouldn't have been able to do it if my husband wasn't working too,
Okay.
So it always kind of works out. We're both freelance. So it always kind of works out that when he's busy, I'm not. When I'm busy, he's not. So it's kind of a good balance.
Yeah. So how did you end up on Pat's team?
That's another really random story, but someone from her team found me on MySpace. And I was just at home one day and got a call from somebody I didn't really know. You were like friends with them, but you don't really know them.
Yeah.
They said, hi, what are you doing next Sunday? Are you able to go to Paris? And I was like, what? And they said, I'm working with Pat's first assistant, and she's looking for someone to come and replace somebody who might not be able to make the shows in Paris for Couture Week. And I was my heart just dropped, and I was like, well, yeah, I can. I didn't even think about it. I was just like, yes, I'll find a way. And then, they said, do you have any photos of creative work you've done? Have you ever covered eyebrows? Just ask me loads of questions. And I was kind of like, what is this? It's like, it just didn't seem real. And all I really had was photos of myself, which is so embarrassing. It's photos of myself wearing Dior looks, with like vinyl eyebrows and things like that I had done on myself and posted on MySpace. And I had also done Hedwig and the Angry Inch in Los Angeles with Donovan Leitch. And so, I got pretty good at doing that sort of drag makeup, covering the brows. And so I had that to show. And so, yeah, I just kind of went from there. And they didn't end up needing me because the person that wasn't going to be able to make it, their visa ended up working out, and it was fine. And I was kind of bummed, but they said, Pat loved your photos and she wants to know if you can join the team for the New York shows. And I was like, you showed her my photos? I was humiliated. I was like, yeah, I mean, And so I said, yes, of course. So I think I moved to New York in September. And then by February, I was on the shows, doing the shows, which was...
So what is involved in doing the shows?
In what regard? I mean, there's so much involved.
Like, is it a full-time thing?
No.
Is it every day?
No, I was never a full-time assistant. I only did shows. I did photo shoots with her as well.
Yeah.
And I assisted a couple other people here and there, but shows just during Fashion Week. Yeah, mostly. And I was also at the same time, actually, the night before I moved to New York, I keyed my very first Runway show in Los Angeles. Oh, and so I was like, I want to do this. So I'd already done Runway, and I had I sort of got the bug to be a makeup key too. So I had also keyed some shows in New York, and I worked on the Mac Runway team doing shows with them, and got to work with great artists. So, most of my time for Runway was spent assisting Pat, but I also, had an amazing opportunity to work with other artists like Alex Fox and, people like that. So it's really cool. Val Garland.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And what's I suppose for people who don't really know, including myself, actually, I'm not really 100% sure on I suppose it's a hierarchy of the shows. There's the key, and then there's the first assistant. How does it work in that regard?
For my teams or for Pat's team? I mean, I don't want to sort of talk too much about Pat's personal format. For my team, I mean, the way that I work, I usually have a first assistant, sometimes a second assistant, and then the rest of the team. So the first assistant, which for the longest time was Lindsay, my podcast host.
Okay.
The first assistant would come with me to the test, and, we would do the test at the fitting with the stylist and a model and the designers. And so then the assistants learning the look at the same time. So then when we go to the actual show, when I'm doing the demo, the first assistant already knows the look and can help make sure that the team is aware of what we're using and what we're doing and things like that, and kind of help facilitate the product.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of work, but as far as
Yeah.
hierarchy goes, I mean, it was really always just me and the first assistant. Sometimes I would have a
Yeah.
second assistant and then the rest
Mm-hmm.
of the team,
Mm-hmm.
which, always kind of fluctuates.
And with the rest of the team, how do you select them? Like, how do you find these people? MySpace? No.
Yeah, MySpace is long gone by this point. A lot of people actually who came to my classes ended up assisting on my team. I'd say
Okay.
quite a few, because it gave me a really good opportunity to see people's passion
Yeah.
and how they felt and like their drive for Runway, and if they really understood how things work. Because it's not, I think people have a very glamorized idea of how fashion works and
Mm.
how Runway is, and that, you're just like, you show up and, it's all fun and games. It's really not. It's like one of the most stressful situations to put yourself in.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's not about you ever. It's about everyone having the cohesive look. And so you're not taking away from the designer's vision. It's all about
Mm-hmm.
providing a service and making sure that all the models look amazing and that you're not doing too much to take away from the collection, because at the end of the day, the designer wants to sell clothes, right? So, I think early on in the beginning of my Runway career, doing shows in places like Miami, a lot of the assistants didn't really understand that, and they thought it was the me show, and I had some issues with people back then. But for the most part, I think just finding people that I could see were really passionate about doing it, and knowing that, having the right mentality going in and doing it for the right reasons. Because if you're going to do Runway to make money, like, you're not doing it for the right reasons, because it's not where you
Yeah.
make money. It is not where
Mm-hmm.
you make money.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty rare that you actually make good money doing Runway these days.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I
So,
mean, just talking to people and seeing how passionate they were. And, a lot of times people would reach out to me in emails, and I'm very intuitive in the way that people present themselves. So when I get an
yeah.
email from someone wanting to assist, I can usually tell within the first two sentences whether or not I'm going to want them to work with me.
Mm-hmm.
And that also goes with, people writing me on social media instead of sending me an email. I'm still very old school when it comes to that. Like, I'm not going to be able to find your message. Like, it's just going to
Yeah.
disappear into the atmosphere. I'm never going to find it again. So I
Yeah.
don't really like when people reach out to me on Instagram instead of emailing for assisting.
Yeah. What are some red flags? Like, what are some things that?
Let me think. Not spelling my name right
Mm-hmm.
for a start.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
always the first. That's an immediate delete. If you don't know how to spell my name, that's an
Yeah.
immediate delete, because
We
obviously you're
haven't been
not.
paying attention.
Yeah, like, you want to work with me so badly, but you don't even know what my name is. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, no. Attention to detail is very important to
Mm.
me. Another red flag is, I don't know. I love everything you do, and I want your career, and I want to work with the clients that you work with. Like, that kind of thing. It's just like, okay, that's not the good
Okay.
way of
Yeah.
forming an email to somebody.
Yeah.
I like when people say how much they love their job, how passionate they are, what inspires them, why they want to do Runway, or why they want to assist me, because, I really want to learn. Like, I'll do anything to learn. Or
Yeah.
I get so many messages like, can I meet you for coffee? It's like, I don't have time to meet everybody
Yeah.
for coffee. And that's, I don't mean that in an arrogant way. It's just, I just don't, like,
Yeah.
if I'm not working, I'm busy doing other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't say there's a lot of red flags, but usually, like, the immediate delete is if you don't spell my name right.
Yeah. I suppose, yeah, like you said, you're very intuitive. You can usually sort of tell
Yeah.
just the way something's been worded. Do you want people to send photos of their work?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, absolutely. I think that people should include either a PDF that has a lot of photos on it, or a
Mhm.
website, or even their Instagram account. I get messages all the time to assist from people that don't even include their Instagram account or their website. So it's like, well, I don't even know what your work looks like,
Yeah.
And for me to make the extra step to ask is just like, well, I have 10 other emails from people who actually did include their work. So, why am I going to go chase you to find out,
Yeah.
what you're offering as far as your work experience goes? What I don't like is when people attach like 50 images to the email. It's like, okay, this is taking up a lot of bandwidth from my email.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I have like 20 high res photos coming into my email account, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Would you say personality trumps skill when it comes
No,
to? No.
no,
Okay.
no. I think both are very important.
Both. Okay.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that too many people nowadays build careers based on just their personality, and
mm,
it kind of bothers me because there
mm,
are so many people who are very talented, but maybe are just a little socially awkward or shy
yeah.
or, inexperienced being around people, but they're super creative or super knowledgeable in what they do. And I think it's a shame that people like that do not get opportunities just because somebody outshines them because they're outgoing or they're going to parties and rubbing elbows with people instead of actually
Hmm.
putting in the work and having experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I was always of the belief that it was talent, but I feel like a lot of opportunities do come along because of personality. But it's really great that, I don't know, you recognize talent. That's
Yeah, I
great.
mean, obviously you don't want to work with somebody who's a total asshole. They have to have a
True.
decent
True.
personality. But I think for me, I want to see your work. Like I want to
Yeah.
see your skill. I want to know your experience. I want to know, what kind of thing you do normally versus
Hmm.
you just being super outgoing. Like I don't care. Like I'm not there to be your friend,
Yeah.
Like oftentimes we'll end up being friends, but I'm
Yeah.
not looking to make friends. I'm looking for people who have strong skills and a drive.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you still keying shows now?
I am, but it's been a while. I took a little break.
Okay.
The fashion industry is not what it was, but I'm
Yeah.
hoping to get back maybe September. Yeah, I was going to go in February, but I don't think it's going to happen.
So do you key shows overseas?
Yes, usually in
Okay.
Milan, New York. I did a show last September. When was that? Was that September? I don't remember. No, it was a year ago. Yeah, I still do shows in New York, but mostly I do shows in Milan.
Okay.
But
And
yeah, I took a break.
how does one become a key? Like,
Well,
how
I
did
think
that
you have
happen?
to, most of the time, not everybody, most of the time you
Hmm.
have to have experience being on a team to really know how it works. There are
Yeah.
definitely cases of people who have never even worked on a show and they end up keying a show just because they get a great opportunity.
Yeah.
It's a shame for those who really bust their ass and don't get those opportunities, but
Yeah.
it happens.
Yeah.
But I think, first and foremost, it's about relationships. A lot of time it's a relationship with a stylist or the designer, but it's
Uh,
usually the stylist because I would say most of the time the stylist is the one who brings in hair and makeup onto a show
mhm. Mhm.
or a sponsor. Depends. But yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned before that you go along and do the run through of the makeup when
Hmm.
you're doing a show. What is the process leading up before then to come up with the look?
So normally, I mean, it depends on the designer, obviously,
Yeah.
but most of the time when I show up to the fitting, they call it a fitting where, they're
Yeah.
actually doing fittings on the model and that's when they want to take the opportunity for the designer to see hair and makeup tested on the model.
Okay.
It really just depends on who I'm working with, but a lot of the times, I show up and the first thing I like to do is look at the collection. I look at the
Mhm.
collection and for me, I really like working that way because I can instantly usually see in my mind what will work, like what's
Yeah.
not going to be too much or what's going to really complement the collection. And then, sometimes the designer will be like, what do you think? Or other times the designer will show me a mood board and be like, this is what we're thinking. And then that's where
Okay.
I'll say, okay, well, I think this might be too much, or maybe we can do more here. It just works like that. It's definitely a collaboration. It's
Yeah.
not the Lottie show. It's not like I walk in and say, this is what we're doing, guys. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. And is the hair stylist, the hair person there as well involved in
Almost
that?
always, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes there's
Okay.
two models and sometimes there's one model and we do makeup and then hair at the same time and then wait for approval. Sometimes the makeup needs to change, sometimes the hair needs to change, sometimes both needs to change, and sometimes we get it right on the first go, and that's always my favorite.
Yeah.
Like, yes, let's get out of here. Let's go get pizza.
How do you like, so what's your creative process? Where do you draw your inspiration?
I'm not gonna lie, it's like my least favorite question because it's such a hard one to
Mhm.
answer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think everything is inspiring.
Yeah.
It's your life experience. It's what you see on the daily. It's what you take in, which is why I try not to look at too many other makeup artists' work. And that's something I had
Okay.
to really force myself to not do, especially in the age of social media. It
Yeah.
gets to the point where we're so inundated with information and visuals
Yeah.
that it kind of clouds your own creativity. It's impossible to not be influenced by other makeup artists when you're
Yes.
constantly looking at their work. And I just don't think it's healthy either. I think
Mhm.
So for me, as cheesy as it sounds, like being in nature, looking at photo books or going to a
Yeah.
museum, like those are all things that are inspiring, but a lot of the times if it's a photo shoot, I'm inspired by the model. If it's a beauty shoot specifically, I'll be inspired by the model's features, or maybe the hairstylist has an amazing idea and that inspires me to come up with an idea that works with it, or the clothes. It's never really a cut and dry answer for
Yeah.
inspiration. And I think that if we're always paying attention to our surroundings, and you're always taking in inspiration from everything around you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So when it comes to doing the shows, do you ever have to sort of come up with I don't know, a reference mood board for them, or is that
No.
not something? Okay, right.
Have I ever? I maybe had to do that once or twice, but usually the
Yeah.
designer has a pretty clear
Okay.
idea of what they want, or the stylist does. And then from there it kind of is a collaboration.
Yeah. Okay. Do you ever get nervous in these situations?
For Runway?
Any jobs really, or have you in the past?
Not really. I mean, I don't really
Mhm.
get nervous with work stuff.
Okay.
I mean, I definitely get nervous like when I've had to go on stage like at IMATs and stuff like that. That's a little nerve-wracking because
Ah, okay.
I don't enjoy talking about myself or being the center of
Yeah.
attention, and that always makes me
Yeah.
nervous. Like I could talk about work till the cows come home, but when I have to talk
Yeah.
about myself, I feel a little awkward.
Yeah.
But as far as work, I don't really get nervous about that unless I'm doing something that I'm not comfortable with, or that I feel like I don't have the skills to do. Things like
Hmm.
that. Like if someone wants me to do special effects makeup, I'm like, that's not what I do. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, I can't really, not really.
Yeah. Cool.
Working with Robert De Niro, I think that was the only time I felt nervous working with somebody, but I think that's to be expected.
Yeah, I'd be pretty nervous. What did you work with him on?
We did a campaign for Doers. It's the alcohol brand.
Okay.
Yeah,
And he
it
was
was
the talent.
he was the talent, and
Yeah.
he is a personality, and he is a force that you can just, it's palpable. His energy is palpable, and it's a little intimidating, but I mean, he's very
Yeah.
nice, but
Okay.
that's really the only celebrity, and I've worked with quite a few celebrities. I'd say that's the only one where I actually was pretty nervous to be around.
Okay. Yeah. That's understandable. When you started the shows, when you started working alongside Pat in the shows, did you initially go in and do makeup straight away, or do you sort of have to work your way up team?
I was able to do I was
Makeup.
able to do makeup right away. I know
Yeah.
some people aren't always that lucky. I think because I had sort of preemptively sent my work, and she was very familiar with my work at the time. Maybe that's why. I definitely got a lot of shade from her team at the time because I came
Okay.
out of nowhere and everyone was like looking at me like, who's this bitch? Where'd she come from? 'Cause I just remember the first time showing up and walking into the tents at Bryant Park and her saying, "Is that Lot Star?" And I was like, "How did you know that's me?" She was like, "I follow you on MySpace." And I was kind of like, "Okay, what is this? What is my life right now?" And everybody just kind of looking at me, giving me side eye, like, "Ugh, who's this?" Yeah, I was able to do makeup right away, thankfully.
Fun. That would have been great. And then when it came to, did you do shows with Pat overseas?
I did, yeah.
You did, yeah.
Hmm.
And you also mentioned that you worked with other keys.
Hmm.
Is that something that you like contacted and outreach for, or is it just sort of something that happened organically,
It
just
happened
from
organically
liking
just
them?
because of Mac. I have Mac to thank for that, because
Ah,
Mac has always been there since the very beginning of my career. They've always been super supportive and super interested in what I was doing. And, I told them I was going to be overseas and I wanted to do shows. I had done shows in New York with them with different keys, and they put me on shows. So I was able to work with people like Alex Box and Charlotte Tilbury and Val Garland, Inga Goodart, like amazing, amazing artists that, I didn't work with regularly, but I was able to do shows with.
yeah, yeah. And you mentioned that that was like your formal training in
Yeah.
makeup.
Fashion boot camp.
Fashion boot camp, I suppose, because the looks can go to being nothing to being a lot, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, you can do, a Stella McCartney show where it's just skin, and then you're doing the Dior show where you're doing 4 pairs of eyelashes, a double winged eyeliner, and like crazy cream colors.
Yeah.
And that's what's so exciting, and you have to be able to switch and be able to just keep up with everybody else, because when you're working on a team of that caliber, I mean, I don't know what it's like now. It's been so long since I've worked with her, but back then, like working on that team, there was such a high caliber of artists that it was just, you're not just learning from Pat, you're learning from all these seasoned, amazing artists who are so talented and so generous with their knowledge and skills, and, and you make amazing lifelong friends. And it's just a really, really cool thing to do. And, I think it's probably different now just because the industry is so different, but I'm glad that I was there when I was there, being able to do shows that I did.
Yeah, and I suppose you'd be exposed to lots of different products, right? And
Yes.
everyone using them in different ways, and and how people pack their kits.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the funnest things about being on a team is, everybody kind of nerds out about products and brushes, and everyone's, oh, look, I got this and I got that. And you find out about all the cool makeup stores when you're in Paris, and, you spend all the money that you don't have to go and buy these things that you can't get in the US. So that's always exciting, because then you come back and you have all these like secret products that no one else is able to get. And that's different now. Obviously, you can get anything now. But yeah, it was a time to be had.
Yeah, yeah. And you have an agent now, yes?
I've had an agent pretty much my whole career, yeah.
Okay. Have you always
Different
had the same
agents.
agent?
Yeah,
Okay.
different agents, yeah.
Different agents? How did you get how did you get that happen?
I just reached out to people. Yeah, I
Oh, okay.
reached out to different agencies. And, when I moved to New York, I definitely had some rude awakenings meeting with agents. And they were kind of like, I remember one agent said to me, if I showed this to clients, they would be scared. And I was just like, wow, okay. And it was gut wrenching. I remember leaving and just like sobbing, because I was just like, oh my God, that was like the most humiliating thing I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
But that's how you learn, unfortunately. I keep saying everything's different now, but it really is.
Yeah.
You carry around these really heavy leather portfolios and take them to agencies. And I remember putting a card in the front, and you could always tell if an agent actually looked at your book or didn't. So you go to pick up your book and you're like, okay, they didn't even open it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been lucky enough to have agency representation for, I would say, 90% of my career.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you have an agent, do they organize all the stuff when it comes to keying shows?
No, I've actually, aside from Milan, I have an agent in Italy, and because she works with the stylist that I work with a lot, she coordinates that a lot of the time. But for the most part, with my shows overseas, I handle everything, like I coordinate the team, I arrange for my sponsors and all of that. And in New York, my agent would definitely help with that stuff. But, most of the time, for most of my career, it's been something that I've done on my own.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Especially sponsors. It's hard to get sponsors.
When you have a sponsor, is the sponsor just generally giving you the product, or how does it work with sponsorship? Are they paying, or it just depends on the
It really depends.
agreement?
I mean, yeah, it depends. Back in the day, I would do shows that would just be desperate, even just to get product to give people to be on my show, because, I wasn't getting paid, and the designer wouldn't want to pay anything. And so to get a team, it's like, I can't ask people to be on a team with no payment and no product, like nothing. So, I was lucky enough that some artists would want to work with me and they'd be fine just getting product. But, even sometimes you'd get a little bit of money and I'd be able to give that. But I would say, most of the time you get a little bit of money and product. Yeah. But there was definitely in the early days where it was just product.
Okay. This might sound like a silly question, but why do a show if there's no like, is it that you love it so much?
Yeah.
The creativity, the buzz?
I guess I just like torture. I don't know. Sadomasochist. I mean, I would say of everything that I do, Runway is probably my favorite thing. And it's a feeling that's really unlike anything else, because it's so much stress and it's so much pressure, and it's all over within 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And so it's everything building up to that, like building the team and getting a sponsor and organizing the products and doing the makeup test, and then going to the show, making sure everyone's on time, making sure all the models are done on time. Sometimes you have 4 makeup artists working at one time on one girl, all of that. And then when the show happens, it's like you've no choice but to just cry, because it's such a like relief that you did it.
Yeah.
It's done, and wow, they look amazing, and it's all come together, and the designer's crying, and it's just like this overwhelming feeling that's really unlike anything else in this industry, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, it's so gratifying to be able to see something from beginning to end like that and know that you're a little part of fashion history,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because those designers are always going to look back on their shows, or if it's a big show, then it's always going to be, you know, online somewhere and inspire somebody. And yeah, it's just a really cool experience, but it's definitely different now. It's different than it was. It's a lot harder to do now, but I still love it.
In what way is it different? Is it less
It's
money, less or
yeah,
okay.
everything, less
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
It's harder to find assistants who want to do it
Hmm.
for little money or can afford to be in Europe, or find people who can commit to you and not, you know, bail out at the last second because they get a bigger artist asking them to
Oh,
assist, which happens, you know, and that really sucks. It's harder to get sponsors because I think it's hard for brands nowadays, because I don't know what the reasoning is really, but maybe it's because everyone working at brands are getting younger and younger. So they don't have that back
mm,
experience of when Runway was such a huge deal. They don't understand how important it is. And a lot of the time, sponsors will say, well, we don't sell our brand in Milan. It's like, well, it doesn't really matter because it's going to be on social media, which is like worldwide. So no one pays attention to the location. It doesn't really matter, you know. But I think it's just harder, yeah, all around. It's just different. A lot of the designers don't really want to do much makeup anymore. They're too scared because, you know, people aren't buying clothes the way they used to. I think there's a lot of factors. But,
yeah.
you know, it's still going, and people are still being creative and having great opportunities, but it's definitely not what it was in, like, I don't know, 2009.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So you said you might be going this year.
Yeah, possibly in September.
Okay. Yeah. And how many shows do you tend to do?
It
Just
depends.
depends
It
on
depends.
yeah. Yeah.
Usually 2 to 4, usually in
Okay.
Milan. Yeah, depends. It's not really
And
worth me going if there's only one show. So
hmm hmm do you do any other work while you're there?
sometimes I do photo shoots.
Okay.
And then most of the time I'll go to Paris and, you know, would do clients going to shows, you know,
Okay. Yeah.
celebrities going to shows, things like that, which is a
Okay.
good excuse to go to Paris when you're already over there.
Yeah. How does that work when you're doing, is that something your agent organizes for you if you're
Yeah.
doing clients going to shows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you tend to do multiple people
I
going, or
did
is
in
it
the
just only
past. I
one?
did in the past, but usually just maybe one or a couple. It depends. It depends on the time. Like it's never the same every season.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's sometimes
And
where I do just one person.
yeah. And is it um is it someone you've got a relationship with, like the person you're doing, or is it just
Most of the time, yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I have a long-standing client who has a contract with Dior, and so she usually goes to Dior show, and so I
Okay.
almost always do her for Dior.
Yeah. And when you're do you have to like do you workshop the look beforehand
No.
or just turn up and
Yeah.
you
See what,
trust?
yeah, it's same as any kind of red carpet. You see what they're
Okay.
wearing and what they're feeling, you know, what they want to do, what the hair is going to be like.
Yeah. And
There's very little planning on my part with 90% of
okay.
my work. I
Okay.
say maybe 95% of my work is not planned
That's good. Just
ever.
show up and yeah, I've often wondered with I don't know with celebrity looks if you do workshop it beforehand or it's just something that happens on the day.
Always happens on the day. I mean, sometimes the stylist will say, "Hey, you know, I'm thinking, I don't know, a smoky eye, whatever, like something random." Sometimes the stylist will have input, but most of the time, no. Most of the time, it just comes down to, you know, a collaboration between hair and makeup and the talent and what they're wearing and that sort of thing.
So you're traveling with your kit a lot. Have you got any? You taking your whole kit, or have you
Mhm.
got a? Oh, you take everything.
Yeah, take everything.
How much do you travel with it?
A lot, probably too much.
Wow.
I mean, probably a lot more now because now I travel with a makeup light too, which I never did early in my career. I don't even know
Yeah.
how I did makeup without a light. Like
Yeah.
half of my career, I did makeup without a light, and I don't even know how that's possible, but I did. And now, like, I can't live without the light. It's crazy, but you know,
Which
that adds weight.
which light do you like?
The makeup light,
Oh yeah, I love the makeup light.
and I
I've
love
got to have that one.
I think it's called the jet light. It's the bigger one. It's
Oh,
like,
of their lights? Is it that
yeah, it's a big
narrow?
square. No, it's a big square. It's a newer one. Amazing.
Okay.
Yeah,
And you travel with that one
yeah. Mhm.
and a tripod?
Yep.
Okay. I refuse to travel with a tripod. I have the suction clamp. I'm just like, I am not.
Well, if you're at a runway show, there's nowhere to suction and clamp
I
to.
know. I do have the clip one as well, but I'm just like, I can't carry a tripod. I'm just like,
The tripod is the lightest part of the whole shebang. Like
I
the
know.
heaviest part
Actually,
is the light.
my friend did say that. She goes, it just slides so nicely into my case, and I'm like, no, just can't. I think it just must be a mental block because I used to travel with the glam core,
Yeah.
and that was massive. So yeah. Do you decant like
Yes.
decant your products?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you just use like little Muji bottles or something?
I mean, it depends on what it is. I have
Oh yeah.
basically everything from Muji bottles to Grishan's new bottles to, various palettes from different brands. Like I've got lots of variations in my kit.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
Um,
mine's a bit like that.
the only one I don't depot is I have a specific kit of only Dior products for my client, and that's a
Okay.
separate bag to anything else.
Yeah.
Like those are only her products, so they're only used on her, and they are all in the original packaging. So that if we need to
Yeah.
do, any kind of photos or pictures of me putting it on her, things like that. So that's the only
Yeah.
thing I don't depot is her kit.
Yeah. Are you have you gotten into repressing or anything with the powders?
I mean, I
No.
definitely have some of that in my kit, thanks to Grishan, Deepak Chopra. I'm sure you know her.
Yes,
She
yes.
has a repressing thing, and she's done a couple things for me, but I just don't have the patience. I don't have the
No,
patience for that. Like,
I
I'll end
don't
up
either
breaking
actually.
everything. Yeah, I'm terrible at it. If I get into the mode, I can depot and do really well with like creams, but when it comes to eyeshadows, I have like a nervous breakdown because I end up breaking everything. So I'm always texting Grishan, being like, what's the best heat setting for this brand? And she knows everything.
Yeah. She's done amazing with her
Yeah.
business. Let's chat about some of your kit favorites.
Okay.
What are you loving at the moment foundation wise?
Foundation wise, I mean, there's pretty much two foundations that I use the most, and that
Okay.
is the Beauty Blender foundation, Bounce, which I've used
Okay.
since it launched. And everyone's always like, I had no idea they had a foundation, but they do, and it's amazing. And if I'm not using that, I'm using the House Labs foundation.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there are other foundations that I also love, but as far as like photo shoots go, I would say I use those two the most.
Okay. What do you love about the Beauty Blender one?
It's incredible. It's such a good foundation. I don't even know how to describe it. I mean,
Yeah.
it looks like skin, but it has
Okay.
great coverage without being heavy. It has an amazing shade range.
Mm.
It's just great. I love it. It's really, really good.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I remember seeing it years ago. I don't know if we could get it here. I'll have to have a look.
I'm sure you can.
Yeah. I haven't tried the House Labs one. I've heard lots of amazing things
Amazing.
about it. It's amazing, is it?
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you love about it?
Top five, one of the best foundations, I think,
Oh,
ever.
really?
Yeah.
What are your top five then? What are
Oh no. I backed myself into that
Press
one. I mean, not in order, but I would say the House Labs, the Beauty Blender Bounce,
Mm-hmm.
the Dior Stick Foundation,
Okay, yeah.
which has replaced the beloved Tom Ford Stick Foundation, which is
Mm.
discontinued. I'm really loving the Milk Makeup
Oh,
tint,
yeah.
which is kind of new. I really love it. If someone isn't too shiny, it's a beautiful, super glowy foundation.
Okay.
And then of course the classic Armani Luminous,
Ah, yes.
classic staple.
Yeah.
Is that five? I think that's five.
That's five. No, that's good. I mean, I think the only one out of those I have tried is the Luminous Silk, and I've just gone back to Luminous Silk. I do love it. I do want to try the House Labs. It's just really hard there's just so many products now.
Yeah.
The choice is just,
It
it's
is a
overwhelming.
beautiful foundation.
Yeah.
It really, really is. Yeah. I
Has
mean,
it got a good shade range?
yes, amazing shade range.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's
Have you,
50 shades. I think there's 50, maybe more than that. No, I think there's 50.
yeah. Have you tried the concealer?
Yes. I'm actually
And
wearing the concealer right now.
are you? Do
Yeah.
you rate it? Do you like it?
I love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
What is does it have skincare in it? The
I think so.
product?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the background of everything. I'm really bad at retaining that kind of information, but I believe so. It's just really hydrating. So is the foundation. I'm not wearing the foundation currently, but I am wearing the concealer. But yeah, I mean, stuff that I use on myself sometimes is very different to what goes in my kit because I have very sensitive skin.
Oh,
I also have, older skin, so not everything that's super glowy is going to work on me and be great. Yeah, I like to try everything.
yeah. What about skin prep? What are you loving? Where are you there? Where are you at the moment with skin prep? Because I feel like that's an ever changing.
It is ever changing, but there are some things that have been in my kit from the beginning, like the
Mm-hmm.
Caudalie Beauty Elixir. Um,
Mm-hmm. Is that the spray or is that
yeah,
actually
yeah,
yeah.
spray. It was actually Stoy who turned me on to that, and I've had it in
Okay.
my kit ever since. Can't live without that stuff. And every single person's like, "Oh my God, it smells amazing!" Like everyone loves that step
Ah,
because it's just like this invigorating smell of like eucalyptus and mint, and it's a really nice, beautiful spray. I'm also loving
IS Clinical.
IS Clinical. It's a new moisturizer. Here it
I
is.
don't know if I've heard of that one. Oh, there we go.
So it's the IS Clinical Daily Dynamic Hydrator.
Oh, I have seen that packaging. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. It's somehow super moisturizing, but it's not super shiny, and it works really well with
Yeah.
makeup. It went
Okay.
immediately in my kit. Yeah, immediately in the kit. And then
What's
I
it called
always
again? IS Clinical Super
the
Hydrating.
Daily Dynamic Hydrator.
Okay. Okay.
And then there's a serum that I've used since I first ever tried it from Make Beauty. And what is that called? It's like a weird Hydrascape or something like that. Hold on. Hydrascape. So
Mm-hmm.
for my prep, I usually cleanse the skin. I spray
Yeah.
with the Beauty Elixir, and then I do the Make Beauty Hydrascape serum,
Mm-hmm.
and then I use
Mm-hmm.
the IS Clinical moisturizer over that. Sometimes I'll use Embryolisse if someone's super, super, super dry.
Mm-hmm.
But that's been my go-to right now, those products.
When you do skin prep, do you allow it time to settle in?
Not too long, no. I'm
Okay.
not using anything active. I mean, I definitely like will work it into the skin and like,
Yeah.
I'm not going immediately with foundation, but I wouldn't say I spend that. Usually you don't have a lot of time
No, that's it. Yeah.
to sit around and let things do their thing. That's why I like using things that are very kind of lightweight and not super
Yeah.
greasy where you have to let it
Yeah.
cook into the skin. I know everybody loves the Weleda skin food, but for me
Mm.
it's like it's too thick. It takes a while to kind of absorb.
Mm. Yeah. I kind of struggle with skin prep because I feel like I actually think I use too much, to be honest. And then I feel like I can't, the foundation doesn't, it just moves around too much underneath. So I feel like I've really pulled back
What are
on
you
my skin
using
prep.
that you think is too much?
I was using the one for a while, but I actually think I used too much product.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was my problem. I was using too much product. I'm using the Clinique, is it Moisture Surge at the moment? I think that's what it's called.
I've never used anything Clinique in my entire life.
Yeah, my friend put me onto it.
Is it
And
yellow? Is it that one? I've seen it.
no, I think it's in a pink bottle. I think there one is one in a yellow bottle, but it's more of a jelly rather than a cream. And I
Okay.
think that's kind of what you sort of mentioned, that they sort of sink into the skin well.
Yeah.
And I have found that serums can tend to peel
Yeah, it depends on what it is, what the main ingredients are. But yeah, sometimes you just get products that don't work well together.
together. Yeah.
Some things that are like highly silicone is not going to work with something else. So
Mm.
yeah, I don't use primers ever. I mean, if I do, it's on a red carpet and that's it.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of a primer. I just think it's a brand trying to sell another product.
I use a
It's
primer on
marketing.
myself, but
Okay.
it's not like a traditional primer in the sense like it's not like a blurring. It's the Bobbi Brown face base. I love it basically because it's extra moisture and I love the way it
Yeah.
smells. I love the way
Is
it
that the
smells.
one in the it's yellow?
Jar. Yeah.
Jar yellow? Yeah, yeah. I look at that and think is it called a primer, is it?
It's called face base. So yeah, I think technically it's a primer, but for me it's an extra moisturizer and I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
The smell is so good.
Is there any primers that would you use, like a long wearing one for a red carpet or and
Sometimes,
just
yeah.
shine?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Have you got any favorites there?
Not that I can think of off the top of my hand. I mean, the Milk makeup one, they have one that's really good for people with shiny skin. I can't remember what it's called. It's in a black tube, but it's a very matte
Ah,
primer. You sometimes have people that just have really shiny skin no matter what you
yes.
do. It is a
Yeah.
great primer for that person.
Because I know they've got the Hydro Grip one, but that's a
No, this is a different one. It's a matte. It's like highly matte primer. I can't remember what it's called. I'm terrible. I'm so
yeah.
terrible at this. Like,
It's fine. It's all good. It's so good. But it's a mattifying one. I've just gotten onto the because I'm living in a hotter climate now, and because I'm in Sydney, I was in Melbourne, and I've gotten onto the one size.
The
It's one
spray.
that, well, I've got the spray, but there's one that stops sweating.
Oh, okay. I haven't used that.
It's like a tube, and it actually does work because some people can sweat on their upper lip
Yeah.
or their forehead, and that just destroys the makeup. And I have tried that, and that does work. The only thing is, though, I do find it a little harder to put makeup. It just looks different when you put makeup over it, obviously, because it makes it more matte. There is, yeah, I do find the whole skin prep and primer a bit tricky because I feel like it just makes the makeup look different if it's not right. It just doesn't, yeah.
Do you
I
ever
find it hard to
experiment on
tweak.
yourself and try and play with products on yourself first? Because I always do.
Yeah, I do. I do. But I am a really low maintenance kind of natural makeup sort of person. And I don't like anything to look shiny on me. So I would just, my skin prep before I do makeup is just so minimal. It's just a moisturizer. That is it. Yeah, it's always fine. And then I just use a skin tint. I don't know. I don't think I'm the best person to be testing it out. So I'm always asking people for their recommendations. Do you like the one size spray?
I do. I think
Yeah.
it's really great. I mean, I don't use it all the time,
Yeah.
but it's great when you're doing those like advertising shoots outside and you need the makeup to stay and not melt
Yeah.
off somebody's face. It's great for that.
Yeah. What about mascaras? Is there anything you're loving there?
I mean, I'm always trying different mascaras.
Yeah.
Sorry. Always trying new mascaras. But I really like the MAC Stack
Okay.
and the Benefit Bad Gal. Like those two are
Okay.
probably my go-tos, but there's so many good mascaras. It's like
Yeah.
whatever I run out of, I'll just grab the next one and try that one. And if it's crap, then I throw it away and just get something else.
What about for yourself? Like, what mascara do you love for you?
For myself, I mean, that's a different story because I have the worst lashes on the planet, and it takes like a 10-step situation just to get my lashes to hold.
Oh, this is
So
what I
I
want
have
to
to I
know.
use a heated lash curler first, then I
Okay.
curl my lashes one at a time, curl my lashes, and then I use a lash primer. And the only one that really works for me is a Too Faced, what is it called?
Surely they only have one primer, right?
Foreplay, I think it's called. Something
Okay.
sexual. I can't remember. Something like that. It's in a black
Yeah.
tube. And it's a black
Yeah.
primer, which I love. So if I have like a light makeup day, I'll just wear the primer and not mascara.
Yeah.
And then I use the MAC Stack waterproof over that. And then my lashes will stay. But if I
Okay.
don't do those, forget it. Like the lash is like this, instantly down.
So you use a heated lash curler first.
Yes.
Anyone in particular?
The one that I love more than anything is from Lashify, which is a lash system brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have a heated eyelash curler. It is the best. I don't know why,
Okay.
but it really works for me. Yeah, I love it.
Okay. And then which lash curler do you use, as in the manual one?
My favorite is probably the Surratt beauty one. Surratt,
Oh,
Chanel,
yeah.
Tweezerman, Shiseido. Like I have all of them in my kit, so
Yeah.
they all work great.
Yeah. Do you use the heated lash curler on clients?
Only if they have really resistant lashes like mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I will use it before I do Lashify instead of like curling.
So are they those ones that are like the stick, and then you like put it onto the eye, the heated ones? I'm gonna have to Google it.
I have it right
Is
here.
Is it battery operated?
You recharge it. Hold on, let me grab it.
Ah, okay.
My personal one is right here. It looks like this.
Yes, yeah.
So it looks like
Okay.
that. But I like it
Whichever.
because it's got this little that side, which is really good for getting your inner lashes. You know, the little baby ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you recharge it with a USB-C, which is great. And
Okay.
it gets super hot and it works really well. And so for my lashes, which are the most annoying lashes on the planet, it's just great.
Can you burn anyone with it?
I mean, I'm sure you could if you weren't careful, but I haven't.
Okay. No, because I think.
It's wrapped in silicone, so it's not like
Okay.
there's no heating element that's exposed to the eye. It's all rubberized like silicone or rubber.
So the heat part in between the spikes.
No, the whole thing, the whole tip gets hot, but it's not like metal on the eye. You know what I mean? You're not really touching the eye. You're just kind of doing the lash like this.
Okay.
So.
Okay. And Lashify is the lash that you put underneath?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Are they Are they reusable or what? I've not
I think
really.
it's I think if it's your personal lashes, you can clean them and reuse them, but I never reuse them for clients.
Yeah.
Also, they're
Okay.
usually wearing it to a red carpet. I'm not going to
Yeah,
chase them
yeah. So you
down and
don't.
say, "Give me
Yeah.
those lashes back." Some of the clients will wear them like for a few days because it will stay on, which is great. They're great. And I know that they've been copied a lot from other
Yeah.
brands, but I do think that their lashes are the best and the styles are the best, they're the most flattering, and yeah,
Yeah.
the owner really created something special.
Yeah. With your work now, you mentioned that you're mainly working in advertising in print. How do you get your work? Is it just long-standing clients that you've had or recommendation? How do you sort of
I mean,
tend
I
to
think
get your
it's like
clients?
anybody. It's a little bit, sorry. I think it's like anybody, it's a little bit of everything. It's, either
Yeah.
comes through my agency or it's a long-standing client or it's word of mouth, recommendation from somebody or, the photographer or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. And do you work, I did notice on your website it said you're bi-coastal. Do you work between LA and New York?
Yeah, I would say mostly LA these days. Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of I kind of work it wherever. Wherever the work is, I'll be there.
Wherever they want you, you're
Wherever they
there.
want me, I'll be there.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you got any career highlights? What
Lots.
would
I
you say?
mean, I don't
What
know.
are some of your career highlights?
I would say King, my first show in Milan, was
Okay.
very exciting.
Yeah.
Working with Drew Barrymore, who I
Oh, yeah.
loved since I was a teenager, working with her and meeting her was amazing, and she's an incredible person.
Yeah.
Having my first contract with Shiseido, which was really exciting and kind of full circle for me because my career kind of started with me being inspired by Serge Luton, the makeup artist who used to do all the ads and things like that in the 70s for Shiseido, which I used to have collages all over my walls. I actually have framed photos that are not up yet, but
Yeah.
in my old office, they were all over the walls. Yeah, so I mean, there's been quite a few. Hopefully there'll be more.
Yeah.
Teaching master classes is always really fun. I really love it. I love seeing people excited to learn and seeing how excited people are at the beginning of their career is always really inspiring too.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was your first show that you did in Milan?
It was for a brand called Aquilano Raimondi, which is
Mm-hmm.
not around anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
it was just, yeah, it was just very elegant and it was just very cool. I remember I just cried afterwards. I was so excited. I was like, I can't believe I did it. I did it. My
Yeah.
first show in Milan. It was very exciting. Yeah. And actually, my sponsor was Mac. And I'll
Yeah.
never forget that because they were always so supportive, so great. And yeah, it was a beautiful show and just very exciting.
What was the look?
The look was kind of 60s look, like a
Ooh.
arch line, like a hard line, and on the bottom with lashes. Yeah, kind of
Yeah.
60s.
That sounds fun. Fun
Yeah,
one to do.
yeah, it was great. Like
Yeah.
modern 60s, not like a full-on retro look, but yeah.
Yeah. And when did you work with Drew? What were you doing with her?
I worked with her quite a bit, actually. First time I ever worked with her was for a photo shoot for Harper's Bazaar, Australia, actually. No, not
Ah,
Harper's Bazaar, sorry. It was for Marie Claire, Australia, and also doing campaign for her brand at the same time. And
yeah. What's her
yeah,
brand?
her brand is called Flower Beauty. I don't know if it's still
Yeah.
around, actually. I don't,
Yeah.
I don't, I think it might have gone away recently.
Okay.
She has a few brands. She has like
Yeah.
household appliance brand and she has flower glasses. She's got, quite a few things going on, but did a few campaigns for her beauty company. Actually went to Australia. I've only been to Australia once and it was with her. So that was really cool. And yeah, she's amazing.
Where did you come to in Australia?
Went to Sydney.
Yeah.
I
She
was
was
there
only
for 2 days, I think.
really.
Maybe three. Yeah, I think just 2 days. Yeah, but it was great because, it's a really long flight and
Yeah.
we had to work right after we got there. And
Yeah.
so I had like an hour to sleep and then we went to work and I think we were working till late because she did a talk with Marie Claire and she had a lot of press to do. And then it was nice because she arranged for all of us to have like a trip around the harbor. She arranged a boat and she had like her favorite Chinese food delivered to us on the boat. And that was really cool. And just getting to see Sydney at night was really beautiful. And yeah, it was a really
Yeah.
fun trip.
And so, yeah, that sounds nice. She made an experience for all of you.
Yeah, she's great
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. We did talk about this before we went on recorded. Have you ever done hair? That's just a Never.
I mean, I have, but
Yeah.
we don't need to talk about it or see it ever.
We need to forget that ever happened.
Yeah, I mean, I actually did hair on Robert De Niro, but
Okay.
yeah, I in the beginning of my career, I was trying to do hair on photo shoots, and it was absolutely awful. If you listen to my podcast, there's some early episodes where we talk about my experiences doing hair, and it was just, yeah, it's not me. I do
Not
not
for
speak
you.
hair. I don't do hair. I don't enjoy it. I love to watch hairstylists do hair and work
Yeah.
their magic, but no, it is not for me.
Not your thing.
Not my thing. Absolutely not.
Another career highlight you mentioned was your contract with Shiseido.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. When was that? What was that?
It was in 2018.
Yeah.
Actually, my first contract and my second contract were both in the same year, which was
Mm-hmm.
pretty exciting. I had a contract with Beauty Blender and a
Mm-hmm.
contract with Shiseido. So I was what was my title? Color artist, national color artist for Shiseido. And that was when they launched their newly branded color line in the
Okay.
States, which is now gone, unfortunately, because it was a really incredible brand. But yeah, it was a really great full circle moment for me.
Yeah. What was involved in the
Uh,
contract?
it was press and it was
Yeah.
doing some in stores and it was doing campaign. Yeah, it was just I would have loved to do more, honestly, but
Yeah.
it was more of a limited contract because it wasn't just me, it was like a couple other people too. But
Okay.
yeah, it was fun though. It was really great to be for both brands to see the other side of the coin, so to speak, like
Yeah.
see how things work behind the scenes. And I had never really had an opportunity to do that. And that was really exciting, especially with Beauty Blender, because that's actually when their foundation launched.
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing how that works, especially when it comes to like influencers and social media and how somebody can make or break a launch is just unreal in the day of social media. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. Is Beauty Blender, I do remember when they first launched the packaging, was it like square and you press it and then you can bounce the Beauty Blender? Is it still like that? Does it still look
No,
like
they
that?
changed the packaging. I think it was a
Mm-hmm.
little too heavy and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it used to be a square that had a little, it was like genius
Yeah.
packaging. It had like a little dip for your beauty blender. So you could
Yeah.
lay it flat and do that, which was great. Really
That's
innovative,
changed.
actually. Now I
Yeah.
think it just comes in a tube.
Yeah. Okay. And how often do you run your masterclass?
I was doing it once a year, but it's been a while since I've done one, actually. I'm thinking about doing another one, but I don't know. I don't know if anyone cares anymore.
Of course they care. Of course they care.
The last one I did, I think, was 2024.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the beginning of
So
2024. It's been a minute.
is this a hands-on like masterclass?
It's changed over the years. In the beginning, it was 2 days. The first day, me speaking a lot about the industry and giving advice and sometimes doing portfolio reviews and things like that. And then the second day would be doing demos, like multiple demos. And then sometimes there would be a photo shoot. I mean, I've changed it pretty much every time. It's been different. And I've
Mm-hmm.
tried to evolve kind of with the times. But I would say the last one I enjoyed the most because it was hands-on, and then I also had a photographer friend of mine at the studio who was shooting the students' work, so they got to have photos of their work that they could put in their book, and that's just really cool. I like doing the hands-on stuff because I like to see other people working and kind of help them in the moment. It's for me more fun than just talking.
Yeah. Yeah. So is it a 2-day consecutive thing? Like 2 days after another?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And you do the demos and then the students bring, the makeup artists bring a model the next day and they
I've
can
always
take
had
photos of it.
models. I've always arranged for models
Oh, okay.
myself. Yeah, I
Okay.
was lucky enough to work with a great agency in Los Angeles who supplied new faces for my class.
Yeah.
But the models also walk away with something for their book. They get
Yeah.
some
Okay.
photos.
Yeah. With the type of looks that you demo in the class, are you demoing like a range of looks or something more natural, something creative? What's the sort of focus?
I mean, it's always, like I said, it's always different. I like
Yeah.
to do a little bit of both. I like to show my skin prep because to me, I think it's one of the most important things that you can
Mm.
learn is really good skin prep. And then I usually, I show my process from very minimal clean makeup that's going to get you money jobs. And then I'll do something super creative. But what I like
Hmm.
to do is kind of evaluate everyone's skill and where they, because a lot of people are coming to me from other countries, or, they work in middle America where they mostly do bridal work. And so it's not going to benefit somebody who does bridal work for me to
Yeah.
do a bunch of creative, crazy makeup looks. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe
Mm.
that's fun to watch, but it's not going to benefit them. And I don't like the idea of people paying money to go to a class that's just to like watch a show. I want people to leave like having skills and actually having skills that they can take into their career that, is going to help their business, because I think that's what's really important. And I think a lot of times people that have classes, it's just like, hey, watch me perform doing this makeup. And then it's like,
Mm.
that's great. Everyone loves to watch that, but how can you actually apply that to your own career? So that's
Yeah.
kind of always been important to me.
Yeah. So you would have done a fair few portfolio reviews then, I'm imagining.
Yeah.
What are sort of some what are some sort of mistakes people make when it comes to building their portfolio?
I would say some of the biggest mistakes are people creating fashion portfolios and it's not fashion. So I think
Hmm.
people who are inexperienced oftentimes think that if the model's just wearing clothes, that's fashion versus beauty. And that's not fashion. Like anyone who works in fashion is going to be able to look at that and go, what is this? Like that's
Yeah.
obviously from H&M, or it's, Prada from 20 years ago, whatever the situation is. Like to have a current book be fashion, you have to actually work with a stylist who can pull fashion. Or I tell people, just work on your beauty book. Just work on
Hmm.
beauty and various looks of beauty, even if that's creative or clean beauty, and then you'll get the fashion work. But don't call it fashion if it's not actually in a magazine or actual fashion brands, because it just dates your work, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. What's some of the best advice that you've ever been given when it comes to your career?
The best advice I was ever given was from somebody who I looked up to, who actually was a graphic designer, because I wanted to be a graphic designer once upon a time. And he told me, no matter what you do, never underestimate your value, ever. Don't ever work for free unless it benefits you. And don't
Mm-hmm.
ever let anyone like take advantage of your value. And that always kind of stuck with me. So he's passed now, unfortunately, but it was really great advice. And I think that it was advice that definitely carries on into any career. And it
Definitely.
sounds so simple and sounds so obvious, but for some reason, it just really something that stuck in my mind.
Yeah. Do you still do regular test shoots or things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really call them test shoots, because I think
Hmm.
a test shoot is when you're starting out and you're trying to kind of test different makeup and learn your skills and things like that. I mean,
Hmm.
I would say I do creative shoots, which is
Okay.
where all the creatives are coming together. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's creative makeup, but it's a
Mhm.
creative shoot you're doing for
Yeah.
yourself. You're not
Yeah.
really testing anything, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try to do it from time to time. I don't have a ton of time to do that, and there's not really a lot that I feel like I need to do for a book. It's just different,
Hmm.
Like it's good to do it from time to time just to kind of refresh your skills or try something new, or maybe do an idea that, I've been thinking about but haven't really had the opportunity to do. But honestly, like I'm not doing a ton of creative work anymore because there's just no place for it. It's just not it's
Yeah.
not the same anymore in 2026.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So if you are going to be doing anything creative, it would be more for yourself.
Yeah, most of the time,
Yeah.
yeah. Or a magazine,
Yeah.
but usually, yeah, for myself, just to get it out of my system.
Do you do much for magazines?
Not as much as I used to,
Yeah. I
mostly
did
because,
notice you have done it in the past.
yeah, I used to do a lot of editorial, and these days I'm very, very choosy when I do editorial, just because I feel like it's a lot of work, it's long hours, and it's often with not much return.
Hmm.
Like most of the time, the magazine won't even send you a copy of the magazine. So basically,
Hmm.
you're working for free and then you're having to pay to have your work. And to me, it's
Yeah.
just not, I'm just at a point where it's just not important to me, like
Yeah.
unless it's an amazing photographer or somebody that I love working with or somebody that I have a great relationship with, or it's an incredible talent, then I'm just not interested. I just
Hmm.
don't, it doesn't hold the same value that it once did, at least not to me.
Hmm. Yeah. Now you have a podcast.
I
We
do.
Speak Beauty.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been in hiatus for a little while.
When did you start that? I know I listened to probably the first episode, actually. That was before COVID?
2020 is when we started the podcast
2020.
during COVID.
You, during
Yeah, it was
COVID.
It was something that we had talked about doing, like just for fun, and then COVID happened, and we're like, well, now or never. Got nothing else to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And it's been great. Yeah, we haven't recorded. We actually have some episodes that we've recorded. We're in the process of editing, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't know if we're ever going to be back on a regular schedule, just based on our individual careers and lives and where we're at right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you record that with Lindsay.
Hmm.
Yeah. How do you and Lindsay know each other?
She started as my assistant. She
Okay.
actually came to one of my master classes, and that's where I met her. And then she assisted me. She's assisted me for, I want to say, at least 15 years.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
a really long time. And now we're good friends, but she started
Yeah.
out as my assistant.
Yeah. The masterclass, would you ever do it virtually as well?
I've thought about it. I just don't know how that would look, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I've thought about it, and I've also thought about doing classes kind of on demand, like things that I would have pre-recorded online that people can purchase and
Mm.
do in their own kind of timing. I just don't know if there's a demand for that and what that looks like and how I would format it. But it's definitely something that I think about.
I definitely think there'd be a demand for it, but it would be a lot of it would be work to put it together, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Well, anything worth doing is work, right?
Yeah, I think there's demand for like breaking down like creative looks, like something you've done like that's so you mentioned before that 60s look that you did
Mhm.
for the runway. For me, I would be interested to know like how to recreate that, for example, because I feel like you can find most things online about sort of natural or glam makeup,
Yeah.
but the creative side of things, I don't know, I just don't feel like there's a lot out there.
I think people are
So,
very protective of their creative work,
okay, yeah,
and I'm not saying I am, but I think
yeah,
that's why it's harder to find that sort of thing online. I think it's easier, not easier, because I think doing really great natural makeup is actually a skill and it's difficult.
mm,
Knowing when
mm,
to pull back and not to pull back is definitely difficult for a lot of people. But when it
mm,
comes to creative work, I think that people sort of hold that closer because they feel like it's what separates them from other people. But I also feel like you can show everything you do step by step and it's never going to look the same.
no,
Like I can show you a step by step of my most crazy makeup look I've ever done,
mm,
and you can recreate it, but it's not going to look the same. It's
no,
always going to be off in some way, or it's going to be different because it's your eye, it's your hand doing it. And I
yeah,
think that that's something that's taken me a really long time to learn and be confident about because, when you're starting out, it's like you don't want to talk about what products you use and you don't want to tell anybody what anything you do. And now it's like we're inundated with information. So,
yeah,
I mean, honestly, who cares? We can all figure it out, really, honestly. I just don't think there's any point in keeping secrets like that anymore.
yeah, I agree. Have you got any ride or die products? Anything in your makeup kit that you just can't live without? Tip products or tools?
I mean, so many. So
So many.
definitely tools. I can't live without my brushes. I cannot
Mm-hmm.
live without my brushes. I can do any kind of makeup with any product, but I have to have my brushes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, I could do makeup with my hands, but it's not easy to do detail with your hand, is it? I love my Hakuhodo brushes, my Refer brushes. There's also some amazing, synthetic brushes nowadays, like Cosette.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that with products, it's always changing, and there are so many products on the market that I'm always going to have favorites. So it's hard to pick one. I think,
Mm.
I don't know. There are some things that will never leave my kit if I can help it. Things like the Dior highlighter palette. To me, it's the best
Oh
highlighter
yeah.
on the market, hands down. I have 1,000 highlighters, 1,000. And
Mm-hmm.
that I think is the best highlighter.
Is that the Dior Backstage one?
Yeah, the glow palettes. To me, it's the best
There's
powder
there's
highlighter.
there's a few different colors, yeah. I think I've got two of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think some were discontinued and they just brought out a bunch of new ones. But yeah, the OG classic 001.
Yes.
It's a staple. And it
Yeah.
just has this like beautiful glow that makes the skin look kind of wet, and it's never too glittery and it's never overwhelming, and it just, I don't know, I love it. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing off the top of my head that will never leave my kit
Mm-hmm.
unless they discontinue it, in which case I'll hunt down every single piece of product that I can find, just like I did with the Givenchy powder.
Oh, Okay, so you love the Givenchy powder.
Yeah, the original one, yes.
Is that the one with the 4 colors? Which one?
Yeah, the ones with 4
Yes.
colors. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you got a supply of those?
I think I have about 8 or 9 of them that I hunted down. Yeah, I got a little fanatical about it because I wear it on myself every day also. So I
Okay.
was like, I cannot live without this powder, so I'm going to hunt down every single piece that I can find.
And what do you love about it? I've never used it.
It's just so finely milled and it doesn't like look cakey, it doesn't look powdery, it brightens, it just I don't know, it's just a
It's
beautiful
perfect.
powder. Yeah, it's a beautiful powder. I love it.
Any others?
Oh, so many things.
Okay.
Foundations we already talked about.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of like kind of new products from blushes that I really like. I really like the Milk Makeup lip, what is it called? Lip and cheek jelly stick, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Love those.
Okay.
I use those on almost every commercial job I do. Like
Okay.
if you have it or if you haven't tried it, use it with a brush and you get like the most natural, beautiful, glowy blush flush look ever. It's great for natural beauty. It's great for anything clean. You can also build it up and do kind of crazy pigmented blush with it. I love that. I mean, classic stable Makeup Forever artist pencils, of course.
Oh, yes. Love those.
I have every single color in my kit, including the original ones that are now gone, the bright colored ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I have some discontinued products that I might get side eye about, but I don't care. Like I'm not taking them out of my kit. Like the matte coffee pencil will forever be in my kit.
Mm-hmm.
I have a back stock of those too. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there's usually at least one product from every brand that I love. Maybe not every brand, but you know, most
Yeah.
brands.
What's the coffee lip? Is that a lip liner or an eyeliner
It's an
coffee?
eye pencil.
Oh, I don't know if I've ever seen that one.
Yeah, it's a staple. It's something that I've used since the beginning of my career
Okay.
for an eyeliner, for eyeshadow base. It's like the perfect neutral brown that blends out amazingly. It doesn't have any shimmer. It's just like perfect. And I have yet to find a dupe for it.
I mean, there's no point me even looking it up because I can't get it anyway.
I mean, you can look it up. I mean, you might be able to find it on eBay or something. I don't know if that's a thing in Australia, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's unfortunately discontinued. All the best things
Yeah.
get discontinued.
What advice do you have for makeup artists? Is there any advice you have for moving forward in their career?
Give up now while you can. No, I'm just kidding. I think the most important thing nowadays to know is that you have to find your own worth and not pay attention to what everyone else is doing. Because I think with social media, and I talk about this a lot on the podcast, people are probably tired of me talking about social media, but I think with people being so attached to things like Instagram, it's so hard to really like shut that noise out and not pay attention to what everyone else is working on and what everyone else is doing and everyone else's successes because it's all fabricated, right? Like it's not like you're watching a live stream of people's life. It's very curated and people lie. And even if they don't lie, maybe people are, really successful and doing the things that you want to do. I think that it doesn't do anything for people's self-confidence.
Mm.
And I can't even tell you how many people tell me like, "Oh, I'm not good at social media. I don't have enough followers, so I'm not going to have a career." It's just like the fact that we even value our careers based off of a number on Instagram is so stupid. I can't even begin to tell you how stupid it is. People value their worth based on an app. Not on their experience, not on their talent, not on the feedback they get from clients or that feeling they get when they do a photo shoot that they're really proud of. I've had people in my life, like assistants and fellow artists, friends who have done amazing photo shoots and they're like, "Oh, but it only got 2 likes on Instagram." It's like, well, who fucking cares? Do you love it? Like, do you still love it? Well, yeah, it's like my favorite thing I've ever done. Well, then who cares? Like the fact that strangers can affect your feeling about your own work is so depressing to me. It really is. So that's my number one advice is just do not pay attention to that shit because it doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. It really does.
Well, I love that. I love that because I feel like, um, if you started being a makeup artist before social media, and then I don't know, I suppose it doesn't even matter when you started. Yeah, you really can put your value on the number of followers you have or the amount of likes you get or
And hey,
comments, and it really,
I've been a part of social media from the beginning. Like
yeah,
social media fueled my career, and it has done, and I still feel this way, because
mm,
regardless of how many followers I have or how many likes I get, how high or low my engagement is, it shouldn't change the way I feel about my work and my passion and my career that I've worked so hard for. I think
mhm,
like your style might not be my style, so you might not like my photo. Who cares? Like, it doesn't mean I don't like it anymore, and I think that that's
mm,
really sad that people don't have pride in their work just because other people don't like it. I highly recommend that every artist read the book by Rick Rubin called The Creative Act: A Way of
mhm,
Being. It's not makeup artist related, it's artist related. And
mhm,
he has so many great messages for people about doing work for yourself and not holding other people's opinions based on your value and things like that, and like drive and the whole creative process. Like, it is such an amazing book. It's so inspiring. I highly recommend everybody read it. Seriously.
okay, I'm gonna go have a look at it now.
Really, really good.
Thank you so much, Lottie. It's been great to chat
Thank
and
you for having me.
hear your story. Thank you so much. I'm glad we made this work.
Me too. Sorry it took so long, but I appreciate it. Thanks,
No,
Vanessa.
pleasure.